Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Tech Showcase and Panel event presented by I-71 with the Singapore FinTech Association and supported by the Cybersecurity Agency of Singapore, CSA. This event will highlight the key cybersecurity risks that are jeopardizing the blockchain ecosystem and showcase cutting-edge solutions addressing these challenges. I am Lyndon Wynn-Schindler, the program head at I-71, which stands for Innovation Cybersecurity Ecosystem at Block 71, founded by leading university, the National University of Singapore, NUS, and leading VC, Singtel Innovate. I-71 is the region's first cybersecurity entrepreneur hub and NUS Enterprise's dedicated cybersecurity startup ecosystem builder. Now, there will be 3 segments in today's event. In the first segment, selected companies will be presenting their unique solutions in the on-chain security showcase. This will be followed by a live panel discussion and Q&A on the cybersecurity risks around current blockchain-enabled technologies and how companies can deal with it. And finally, we will then all move to the virtual lounge for networking, which I'm sure we all miss, right? So this will be a really interesting way for us to network today. So a few housekeeping matters before we start. If you would like to ask the panelists questions, please use the Q&A tab on the right side of the page to post your question as a text message. You can also upvote a question already asked to help host pick up questions based on popularity. Now, let's get right into it and begin with the on-chain security showcase. Presenting first is Paul Kang, co-founder and director of Entersoft Security. Entersoft Security is an award-winning application security provider with a focus on helping businesses across fintech, blockchain, crypto, and financial services. With a team of elite offensive security certified professionals, Entersoft provides highly cost-effective services and products to the most pressing problems in application security. Paul, you will have exactly 6 minutes to deliver your presentation, and I'll come in and give you a 1-minute warning. So are you ready?
Thank you, Linda. Am I audible?
Yes, we can hear you. You may begin now.
No, thank you for the opportunity and welcome all. It gives me great pleasure in presenting Entersoft and the problems we're solving in the fintech and crypto space. So a bit of background in terms of mission and vision. Entersoft is empowering our customers to focus on growing their businesses while ensuring their investment and systems are protected in a world of continuously increasing cybersecurity threats. In terms of background, Entersoft is a global leading cybersecurity company that focuses on securing emerging technology organizations against cyber threats. We have a team of elite ethical hackers who take an offensive approach in helping organizations identify, manage, remediate vulnerabilities in the application layer. Since our inception, we've been focused on building a culture that believes in smart work and thinking offensively and having a mindset of a hacker to help organizations take proactive approach in protecting their digital assets. As a truly global company, we have offices across Australia, Hong Kong, India, Singapore, and the US, which allow us to provide cyber assistance to the expanding fintech and crypto customer base. We've been recognized by many renowned global organizations such as United Airlines, Microsoft, Lenovo, BlackBerry, Dropbox, etc., in identifying and disclosing security vulnerabilities as part of responsible disclosure vulnerability programs. Our leadership team is made up of ex-military intelligence, a team of over 40 plus ethical hackers, and spread across Australia, Singapore, and India. So some of our customer base in the fintech space include the likes of CardUp, Neat, companies like Fidelity Investments, Air Wallets, etc. We've focused predominantly in the fintech sector across buy now, pay later, across payments, investment, wealth advisory, and so forth, insurtech as well. In blockchain, we've been working with some of the leading crypto exchanges across Australia and protecting their digital assets. to give consumers a safe experience of the products that they utilize. Some of the industry awards and recognition include being awarded FinTech of the Year in Australia, Cybersecurity and Excellence in App Security in the FinTech Hong Kong Awards by ETNet, and coverage is showcased there. So what are some of the challenges in FinTech? So with the rapid growth of opportunities in the FinTech market, there's been constant need for more rapid product development. So the speed of development for organizations to push products for consumer convenience leads to products being pushed into market by developers at a faster pace. This is where security takes a back seat when compared to functional releases. But with customer pressures, regulatory pressures, they're all raising the importance that the information and assets that they're utilizing are secure. So it becomes very important for fintechs and crypto organizations to be protecting their biggest asset, which is the information and data that they do hold. So we've been operating as a security partner for fintech for over the last 6 years, and it's really understanding the balance between rapid deployment and including those security life cycles into the development side of things from an application point of view. We work with our customers to discover the needs and direction of their businesses so we can leverage our expertise in the fintech space, which provides an enabler for them to set and achieve their security objectives, but at the same time allows customers to push out their products efficiently with robust, secure products with peace of mind. So our experience in fintech, as well as our involvement in the fintech industry bodies, has helped our customers understand the most efficient and best security practices in the area. In the crypto space and blockchain space, it brings about a lot of different threats. There's so many different digital mediums that allow consumers or cyber criminals to exploit consumers. There is that mindset that the blockchain is secure and safe. It can't be hacked. But as we've seen, there's been millions or billions that have been stolen, have been scammed, etc., due to consumers being naive, poor coding or security practices, whether it be in smart contract audits, whether it's not taking proactive approaches, etc. So we've spent a lot of time in helping companies and organizations to understand the threats, whether it be from brand protection through to source code review, etc. In terms of our service offering, we've been focusing a lot on cryptocurrency exchange penetration testing, a lot around hot wallets, smart contract audits, taking more of a manual approach, understanding that the white paper matches the logic of your smart contracts, the manual intervention, being able to look at gas optimization, etc. But high-level services are very focused on that application and source code side of things. We have a number of products, an API pen testing tool and a vulnerability management system, and we're currently building a smart contract auditing tool. Some of our key services, once again, cloud security, web penetration testing, smart contract audits, down to source code review. Why Antisoft? Leading global fintech crypto companies, our customer base, strong record of helping organizations launch products securely and efficiently, exhaustive engagement by showcasing proof of existence and proof of non-existence of vulnerabilities.
All right. Is that enough time?
Yep.
All right. Well, thanks so much, Paul. I mean, look, so much more to be discussed, right? But for anyone keen to learn more, you can connect with Paul at his table in the virtual lounge at the end of the event. So thanks again, Paul from Entersoft Security. Next up, we have Jason French, Senior Director at Ledger APAC. Founded in 2021, Ledger Enterprise Solutions is a division of Ledger, the global leader in security and infrastructure solutions for safeguarding critical digital assets. Ledger Enterprise Solutions provides enterprise-grade security technology solutions and services for custodians, exchanges, banks, and traditional financial institutions. So hi, Jason, are you ready?
Yeah, hi everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can. So great. You're also going to have 6 minutes and I will come back to give you a 1-minute warning. So you can begin now.
Okay, thank you for the warm introduction, and hello everybody. It is a pleasure to be here with you today. So I'm going to talk about Ledger's enterprise solution. I think a lot of people in here probably have heard of Ledger through our retail brand. Ledger Enterprise Solutions was actually born out of the, a lot of our people in this space were using the retail product, and we realized that you cannot secure billions and billions of dollars with the retail product. So we thought, excuse me, it's very, very early here, and I think I've lost my voice. Okay, so the genesis of Ledger Enterprise Solutions was to leverage our security expertise and provide the critical, the institutional grade critical asset digital security that the market desperately needed. So today, we work with crypto. Excuse me. We work with a lot of crypto native type companies such as Crypto.com, Komainu, Nexo, but we also work with traditional financial institutions like Bank Freak and other large funds, and we work with a whole wide range of people in the space. When you look at the different solutions on the market, really you kind of see two types. We have technology providers and custodians. We fall under the technology provider bucket. So what we provide is self-managed custody infrastructure technology. We are not a qualified custodian. And then if you look on the other side, there are kind of two different setups. There's on-prem and there's SaaS. Ledger Enterprise Solutions offers a SaaS-based solution. So the SaaS-based solution is, a turnkey solution. It's obviously very cost-effective, and it allows companies to let us take the difficulty out of the security aspect of their business and focus on their core business. Because setting up this kind of critical digital asset infrastructure is certainly not an easy task for enterprise. So what does the system look like? So this is kind of the architecture of the Ledger Vault. We use a unique combination of hardware, firmware, plus software. Everything is built in-house. We even manufacture the personal security devices that you see here in our factories in Vierzon in southern France. So we provide end-to-end security for our users via from the PSD to the HSM. So a typical user would log into the platform, they would validate their information on the PSD. This is actually an offline device that you have to plug in, and then any action that you would take on the platform, if you want to send a transaction, for example, you would have to plug this in, and you would have to verify on this PSD that the action that you want to take is actually correct. This is a way to kind of ensure that you have human readable kind of information, and that you have people taking a second to ensure that the address that they're sending to actually matches the address on this PSD, and there's not been some sort of a phishing or hacking attempt on their browser or on their computer. And then once this has all been validated, sent via a secure channel to the HSM, the HSM will check if there is a quorum has been met, and if it has, then it will actually use the master seed to sign the transaction and publish the transaction onto the blockchain. So, Ledger is a bit different than some of the other technology providers in that, you own your assets from the beginning until the end. So the way we do this, obviously the key management is very difficult in blockchain. So when you start with us, you'll the customer will actually generate their master seed, and then it's instantly sharded into 3 bits, and then the customer will be in full control of the master seed, which is critical because even if Ledger just ceases to exist, you are still in full control of your assets. You can always use the master seed to regenerate it and to recover your funds. But you don't need this on a day-to-day basis. So moving across the slide, we have this idea of a wrapping key. This is another layer of encryption, very similar to the master seed encryption. And what we do is we wrap all of the information that lives on the HSM, just to make sure that there's an extra layer of protection on your HSM. And then finally, on the far right of the slide, your day-to-day users, we have a segregation of duty between an administrator and an operator. So administrators get to set the rules, but they cannot send transactions. And then the operators can send transactions and approve transactions, but based on the rules that the administrators set.
Okay, you have 1 minute.
Excellent. Okay. So the personal security devices, I think this is one of the critical things that that we have put into our technology stack. These are actually custom built for each one of our customers, and these can only be used for your instance of the Ledger Vault. And what this enables you to do is to have a very high degree of certainty that we call this what you see is what you sign. You can have human readable information and verify that you're actually taking the action that you want to take. So I think the final thing I'll talk about is the governance framework. So enterprise, they need to be able to have secure workflows. They need to have multi-authorization, multi-sig. You want to have whitelist, threshold controls, etc. And you can do all of this quite easily with Ledger Vault. Giving you the full control over who can do what and send to whom, and who needs to approve it. So it's really kind of a full offering for your digital or critical digital asset custody. So I guess that's probably about all the time I have here, and apologies for my voice at the beginning. If you guys want to learn more, please chat with me in the virtual roundtable after. And yeah, thank you very much for having me today.
Great. Thank you so much, Jason, for joining us all the way from Paris. So very early morning for him.
So early.
But once again, that was Jason French from Ledger Enterprise Solutions. Interested attendees can visit his table to chat more in the virtual lounge later. So next to take the stage is James Gunn, Chief Executive Officer of UKISS Technology. UKISS's patented technology, UKISS Hugware, is a revolutionary crypto hardware wallet that eliminates the presence of complicated recovery systems. Their clients include government ministries, leading medical healthcare providers based in the APAC region, and major fintech players. So let's hear more from James. James, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Great.
Thank you,
Okay,
Linda.
so you'll
for the
also have 6
introduction.
minutes. Oh, okay, yeah. And remember, I'll come
Yeah.
back to give you a 1 minute warning.
Okay, hi everyone. I'm James, CEO of UKISS Technology. Without further ado, let me briefly present on our perspective and solution of this conference topic, Rethinking Broad Change 100 Billion Problem Through Cybersecurity. So, you think your digital assets are safe? Think again. Yuma? No screen?
Yeah. Are you showing your screen?
Yeah.
Can you just
Hello, can everybody see my screen? Hello,
No,
can
no,
everybody?
we can't.
You can't see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, give me a second. Now, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so reset the time.
Okay, some more time back.
Okay, so you think your digital assets are safe? Let's think again. Okay, these are the obvious problems that I believe all of us here are aware of. The risk of online platforms that are vulnerable to scams and hacks. The world of crypto is growing at a pace never seen before, making the industry a target for some of the biggest highs in history. In less than 2 years, billions worth of digital asset has been stolen through relentless attacks. Crypto security has not lived up to its promise, despite its traction, with theft and hacks still extremely common. But that's not all that threaten our digital assets. The existence of human errors that are associated with recovery phrases and password pose a big concern. According to a published consumer research, almost 40% of crypto users have forgotten their password at least once. So you might think, so what? Big deal? Well, to put it into context, 20% of existing Bitcoins are lost forever because of forgotten passwords. That's 140 billion US dollar gone because of an innocent mistake. The complicated recovery system of hardware wallets available in the markets currently is a problem. Moreover, there is no one-size-fits-all solution at the moment with the existing digital security ecosystem. Platforms are focused on their own interests instead of users. Data breaches and leaks worsen one after another. So in this digital era where vulnerabilities are quick to be exploited, how do we then create a fully integrated solution? Here is where UKI's technology bridges the gap. We believe the solution that we need to that we present to you is to allow us to take security into our own hands and to kiss recovery phrases goodbye, and also to enter a next-gen fully integrated digital security ecosystem. UKI's hardware. Our UKI's hardware comes as a pair of cryptographic key management devices. The A key generates and stores the private keys to all your digital assets, while the R key serves as a rescue key to reset your forgotten password and recover your A key in case of damage, loss, and theft. You hold your private keys and the recovery security in your own hands. And this allows you to kiss recovery phrases goodbye. The elimination of recovery phrases will minimize phishing attacks and human errors. Our technology is patented in more than 20 countries across major markets such as China, United States, Europe, Japan, India, South and Southeast Asia. While the first level functionality of UKI's hardware is a crypto hardware wallet, the amplified capabilities include data encryption and other digital security functions. This will include our hardware will be fully integrated with a suite of digital security applications, ranging from our own software to third-party solutions, and we are also in the midst of developing. For example, like UHide, you can keep your files safe. UArchive, you can fortify your backups online and offline using the same hardware. The UKI's ecosystem is powered by both hardware and software solutions and are driven by tokenomics. While our patented UKI's hardware and the comprehensive UKI's suite of applications, consumers are just one key away from being safe and secure at every step of the way. But that's not all. Our ecosystem, powered by KISS token, a one-of-its-kind cryptocurrency with ever-growing utilities, yet of a fixed supply of the tokens. UKI's technology is building a new world where security pays off, literally. With a fully integrated digital security ecosystem, we believe that by empowering individuals to safeguard their own securities, we build a better and more secure world for everyone. Okay, I'll end here and share with you our product commercial. Thank you. Do I stop sharing?
Experience the future of hardware wallets. KISS recovery phrases goodbye. UKISS hardware comes as a pair of cryptographic key devices. The A key generates and stores the private keys to your digital assets, while the R key serves as a rescue key to reset your forgotten password and recover your A key in case of damage, loss, and theft. No phishing attacks, no human errors. Simple and intuitive, just plug and play. The UKISS hardware is more than just a decentralized crypto hardware wallet. It unlocks a world of digital security capabilities with the UKIS suite of applications. Take security into your own hands with UKIS Hugware. Visit ukis.io for more information.
All right. Well, thanks for the sharing, James. To find out more about UKIS Hugware or the company, remember to drop by and have a chat at their table in the virtual lounge at the end of this event. Well, we're now at the last presentation before the panel session. So for this presentation, we have Lance Morgan, President of Blockchain Intelligence Group. Again, there'll be 6 minutes of presentation. So without further ado, let's hear from Lance.
Welcome to Blockchain Intelligence Group's presentation and the $100 billion blockchain problem. A little background on Blockchain Intelligence Group. We've now been in business for almost 7 years. We are headquartered in Vancouver, Canada, although we do have employees both in the US, Europe, as well as the APEC region. We are a publicly traded company, which has also instilled confidence with our banking clients. We have over $75 million in the bank, cash flow positive as a company as a whole. And a little background on myself. I've been in the startup space for 25 years. I founded or co-founded 20 plus companies, officer and director of 10 plus public companies. First technology company I started landed $1.5 million contract within 90 days. I am also a certified cryptocurrency investigator. Our first service is BitRank Verified, which is equivalent to a credit score, but instead a risk score for addresses and transactions relevant to the funds and the types of transactions and the addresses that have been involved. When we first see an address, it scores as 50. This would fall underneath the low risk category. And then as it transacts, this is what causes it to go up or down. The ranking model was designed after the strictest regulation on our planet. So that is FATF and Basil. And we are offering risk ratings for over 300,000 different types of digital assets and growing on a month-by-month basis. So who's using this? Well, digital banks, banks themselves, exchanges, custodians, OTC desks, BTMs, and actually quite a few different other verticals from KYC providers, etc. We do have our own data centers, about $1.5 million data center here in Vancouver, as well as a $500,000 data center back east for redundancy. Once all the heavy lifting is done, we upload it to Amazon, and we can service an address or a transaction risk score within about 150 milliseconds. We do serve up from the memory pool. So if you've got a transaction that just occurred, you don't have to wait for the block to be confirmed. We can tell you right away what that score is for that transaction. You can, of course, set your different thresholds depending upon how you design your system, and you'll always know if we've detected if it's been involved in any kind of nefarious or illicit activity. So besides address and transaction risk scoring, enhanced due diligence reports, the ability to upload a CSV of 10,000 addresses, ability to download all your historical queries, an extended view, which gives you exposure, temporal patterns, balance over time, volume activity, notes, and more. Here's a mocked up example of what we'd get back, some stolen funds. And, with $100 billion problem, we need to know if we are taking funds in that are stolen. If they are and we've detected it, we can then freeze those funds. The other would be to not show a deposit address and not get involved with facilitating nefarious activity and or having to file a suspicious activity report. Some other things that we can see here: when we first saw it, when they first transacted, how much funds have flown through it. We can break down all the transactions, and there is much more that we won't show in public. Clue. So being able to track down nefarious activity, you can do it through free open source stuff, but it's going to take you days, if not weeks or months. So we have a visualization engine that allows you to visually track cryptocurrency transactions, be able to run a number of different filters that you can use to expedite your investigation, being able to have a case file management to be able to save it, proactive monitoring, so you can do address watch to be able to attach different types of alert profiles to what you'd be curious about when it's triggered, and also the ability to reply to subpoenas. More and more of those are going to be coming out, and being able to respond quickly is going to become a very key time saver and cost saving. And so with our system, you can export the graph. You have the ability to export to CSV, which allows you to then quickly write up your notes. And so Clue is a great engine that just accomplishes so much in this space for whichever vertical you may be in. Now, if you are just getting into the space and crypto is new to you, you are able to go through our online training that's self-paced. And it talks about cryptocurrencies in general, the ultra-private wallets, how the dark web is working, and how criminals are using cryptocurrencies there, what kind of evidence is left behind, and then how to actually perform a real investigation. And so we walk through. We do have advanced modules coming out that if you aren't already in the space or you haven't gone through our curriculum, it'll be way over your head. But check out cryptoinvestigatortraining.com. A lot of testimonials at the bottom. We've had over 850 people go through. I think you'll be very impressed. Here's some examples of the different types of organizations that people have come from that have gone through our training. And I really appreciate your time today, and hope you enjoy the rest of the event. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you for the presentation, Lance. And anyone who would like to further connect with the Blockchain Intelligence Group can head over to the virtual lounge after the panel session. So thank you again to all the presenters. We hope this short showcase was a quick and informative introduction to some of the solutions that fintech companies and users of blockchain technology can leverage to secure your assets. So now, recently, the Monetary Authority of Singapore, MAS, they had their Cybersecurity Advisory Panel provide insights on how financial institutions in Singapore can bolster their cyber defenses. It was raised in the meeting that security awareness and competency in the blockchain space today are, quote, not where they need to be, a warning that companies should take seriously. In the next part, we will hear from experts in the blockchain and cybersecurity space who will dive into the challenges and opportunities for companies that will have to work on pressing tasks like security implementation and blockchain testing. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce Michael Liu, who will be moderating this panel discussion. Michael is the CEO of Rajantan Technologies and chairman of the Cyber Risk Subcommittee with the Singapore FinTech Association, SFA. So let's welcome Michael and the other panelists on stage to introduce themselves. Over to you, Michael.
Hello, thanks, Linda. Can you hear me? All good? Right, thanks. So I think just a bit of a word on SFA. So I'm representing the FinTech Association. So we're honored to participate in this event because we feel that it's important for us to share some of the solutions that's available out there. And then also we are also very honored to be able to get this esteemed group of panelists. So what I want to start off with is, as they say, there's this saying, all right, great power comes with greater responsibilities, right? So in this case, we all know that there's this great opportunity here, which is the $100 billion blockchain industry, right? In fact, it's just the tip of the iceberg. It will exceed 100 billion very quickly. So with an opportunity this huge, what does it mean? So that means there'll be a greater risk that comes with it as well. So in this case, it's the cyber risk, right? The cyber threats and so on. So this is where we want to focus on for a panelist discussion, right? What we have done is we have created a list of panelists, which I will introduce shortly. But there is, all of them are selected to represent various segments of the industry as a whole. And I will walk through which segment they represent as we go. So without further ado, let's start with the first panelist, which is Jin, my friend Jin. I've known Jin for some time. So Jin is the co-founder and CEO of Black Panda. So Black Panda is is an innovative and premier digital forensic and cybersecurity service provider. So Jin is at the front line of dealing with cyber threats and security risks. When I say front line, I think for Jin is a literal meaning, right? Because Jin used to serve with the special force, and he will tell you more story about that when you meet up with him. But Jin, do tell us, in terms of the key cyber threats. So, what are the clear and present danger, in terms of this industry, especially with the growth of the blockchain industry opportunity, and what are the mitigation factors that you see?
Sure. Thank you, Michael, for the introduction. Glad to share my thoughts with everybody today on what we see. Like Michael said, we are a cybersecurity firm that only does incident response and digital forensics. We're all about being 1 inch wide and 10 miles deep in this capability, and just respond to attacks day in, day out. And it is quite busy, obviously, with the threat landscape out there, and blockchain companies are not outside of this parameters that we see. So I would say that we have responded to some of the regions, and we respond to attacks from Japan to Australia with our office in Singapore, Hong Kong, and Tokyo. The most ones that we see on the blockchain side have come through either code exploitation or with the digital keys being stolen directly, right? And as just an aside, I would comment, because we work very closely with the cyber insurance industry, it's well noted that blockchain and cryptocurrency or crypto affiliated companies cannot actually be cyber insured. There are maybe 1 or 2 very specialized underwriters out of London that might be able to handle, but this is just a reflection of the high risk industry that we're all talking about here due to the nature of crypto and all that, right? So one case example that I wanted to kind of share was about a case where a venture capital firm had been operating through a decentralized blockchain, was robbed with over USD 60 million worth of Ether digital currency through about a third of its value through code exploitation, as I mentioned earlier. Stolen keys, like I said, is another one that we've seen. Quite a large number, as much as 73 million worth of customers' bitcoins through crypto from one of the largest cryptocurrency exchanges. And really demonstrates that the currency is still at a big risk. So I maybe just pause there and then turn it back to Michael. Is happy to talk about these things in more detail as what we see out in the field.
Right. Thanks, Jin. Thank you for sharing. So next we'll move on to Veronica. So Veronica is the director of Safer Cyberspace from the CSA, Cybersecurity Agency of Singapore. So Veronica will share with us from a sort of authority of the agency's sort of perspective. So Veronica, we understand that trust is a very important element in blockchain and in terms of crypto as well. But in recent cases or recent days, we hear a lot about scams and a lot of incidents regarding trust of using cryptocurrency and on the blockchain. So can you give us some thoughts in terms of how to create sort of a safer cyberspace environment and some of the challenges that you may face?
Yeah, okay. Hi, everyone. Happy to be here today to share a little bit about our thoughts on blockchain and cybersecurity. Now, blockchain, just like any other infocom technology system, does have its fair share of cybersecurity risk that users and developers all need to be aware about. So I think in today's session, I'll just briefly mention 3 of them: smart contract security, supply chain security, as well as endpoint security. Now, smart contract security, security issues in smart contracts can be significant because many of the smart contracts deal with financial assets, and errors in smart contracts, once published, is actually challenging to be corrected due to the immutable nature of blockchain. And because of that, we actually have seen in the industry actually quite a lot of emerging efforts to actually raise awareness of smart contract security. In fact, I was just listening into the previous presentations earlier, and I caught what Paul said about how his company is working on products around smart contract security, such as an auditing tool to help to do reviews of the smart contract to make sure that all the errors and the potential exploits could then be addressed. So that would be on smart contract security. Now, moving on to supply chain security. This is actually not new in the cybersecurity industry, and for many of us in this industry, we would have seen our fair share of the traditional supply chain issues. And blockchain is probably not too different, particularly because blockchain, I would say, I think developers in particular, are sometimes still learning and emerging in terms of the way they're writing the code, as well as in terms of the product implementation. It can be at a stage where vendors may still not be as fully mature in this area, still on the learning curve and learning from the ongoing deployments. So So there would be its corresponding fair share of vulnerabilities in the code developed that would inadvertently lead to exploits and supply chain issues. And this will be something that will evolve over time. And as the industry matures, then the areas of concern would then diminish after that. Finally, in the area of endpoint security, it's actually, again, another fairly standard issue in cybersecurity. And if you look at it from the perspective of the blockchain, I think, well, we have to be worried that once the endpoint device is compromised, this would create opportunities for malicious code to be introduced, potentially cause the credentials of privileged users to then do quite a bit of damage. So I think overall, although blockchain systems are basically fairly new and interesting, at the end of the day, some of the traditional cyber hygiene measures are still need to be thought of, need to be applied and to put in place so that we make sure that as we go around developing our blockchain systems, blockchain is supposed to create that level of trust. We can also have trusted blockchain systems as well. So I think with that, I'll just hand this over back to Michael to continue the conversation.
Yeah. Veronica, just a quick top-up question. I think it's very interesting insight. But in terms of CSA perspective, if you can share, what are some of the measures, like you say, in terms of cyber hygiene guidelines or awareness that can be done to further this objective?
I would say that these are not too specific to blockchain, but we have been doing quite a bit in terms of raising awareness about general cybersecurity. For example, releasing toolkits for enterprises to learn more about the cyber hygiene measures. And in time to come, early next year, we will be releasing the SG CyberSafe Trust Mark as well as a mark of cyber hygiene. Basically, it's an assurance program and a certification program to say my company is actually cybersecurity certified, has the right level of assurance, so that if you work with me, then at least you minimally make sure that I'm at a certain minimum level. So while it's not blockchain specific, I think it can be equally applicable to blockchain developers, blockchain product companies as well.
Thanks, Veronica. And that would be a great plus point for the industry as well. I think that's excellent. Yeah. So thank you. So next we'll move on to Derek. Right. So Derek is the general manager of N Group, so the international business, and Derek focuses on what you call the intelligent technology business group. So Derek, that's very interesting. But I want you to share in the perspective of in terms of innovation, from the blockchain technology perspective. So I understand N Group has this N blockchain. So you have your own blockchain arm as well. So in terms of innovation and in terms of the ecosystem, so what are some of the challenges and opportunities that you see?
Absolutely. No, thank you so much. So first and foremost, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Derek Loy. I'm the GM for Intelligent Technology, International Business for N Group. And essentially, we are the business unit that's responsible, that's powering, our digital bank to business customers outside of China, right? So that's the responsibility for me and my team. Now, having said that, we do have both blockchain as well as non-blockchain services, such as AIoT, federated machine learning, eKYC, for which we have just recently won a IDC award, and various other capabilities like even e-sign, copyright protection for what they call licensed media, digital media. So a very broad range of capabilities centered around both blockchain centric as well as non-blockchain centric. But if I may, just to come back to the audience today, right, and the topic at hand, right? N Group is very much vested into working with our customers to ensure that security is addressed on the blockchain services that we offer. And specifically regards to smart contract security, that is an area that we are very focused on, because we know from various reports such as PackShield that for the first half of this year, smart contract security issues account for close to $700 million US dollar of losses, right? Out of which close to about 0.2 billion or 200 million of that 700 million actually is resulting from flash loans, right? Or what they call this lightning loans. Now, based on these statistics, right, we are very much concerned about smart contract audit and security. And this is where we have actually discovered 4 key areas, right, of vulnerability. First is what some of my panelists, esteemed panelists have spoken about, which is code security. The second area that we have found to be very common is the logic vulnerability, and this is typically caused by multiple contract operations. So take for example the balancer that resets the balance and cause a backtrack. Third would be the business logic vulnerability, and this is where it's due to the complex logic integration between contracts. So this is, for example, an attack event that could be caused by the unit price calculation, right? In the Uniswap. Then, last but not least, what we have clearly seen recently, that has happened to Poly Network, that has happened to, for example, the Cream Finance, which we just had its third attack recently, last month, will be the cross-chain security. And this is caused by a re-entry problem, such as a DAO event, such as, for example, some of the vulnerabilities on ERC 777. So these are the 4 areas that we have found to be most common for smart contract vulnerabilities. And for that, we actually work with our customers to do a multi-angle contract security analysis. And of no surprise, it's based on 3 pillars. First and foremost, static scanning, right? Next, with fuzzy testing. And last but not least, a formal verification of the business logic itself. So I just wanted to give you a quick overview of the approach that we take towards smart contract audit. End of the day, N-chain, be it our own proprietary blockchain implementation, be it our implementation using Hyperledger Fabric or Ethereum Quorum, we actually do have extensive experience today on our various chains that we offer. We have close to about 100 million records. They are updated every day. We have implemented close to about 50 industry use cases, and we are leading globally in terms of the numbers of patents that we have filed for blockchain, close to about 1,005, right? So we are way leading in terms of the global number of patents that we have filed. So I know it's a bit of a mouthful to introduce the team and the amazing work that we do, but I just thought that I'd like to share some of these exciting areas that we're working on. Back to you, Michael.
All right, thanks, Derek. Yeah, thanks for sharing. That's very interesting, very enlightening. So next we have Anson. So Anson is the chairman of the Association of Cryptocurrency Enterprise and Startups in Singapore. It's called Access. So again, so we have asked Anson to join us because he represents the community, right? The community that builds all the enterprising and startups. So Anson, we want to know from your perspective, and as we know, in terms of blockchain and crypto, it started at as a decentralized platform, right? So maybe you give us some views in terms of the decentralized angle, and of course the open source as well. So it can be leveraged on using the open source environment in terms of coming up with better solutions among your community to handle or to tackle this $100 billion cybersecurity issue or blockchain issue.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you for the introduction. I'm very happy to be here. I just want to put on the second hat that I also wear. I'm the chair of IDAXA, the International Digital Asset Exchange as well, which works with all the different virtual asset associations, crypto associations around the world, such as Crypto Valley, Switzerland, Blockchain Australia, the Japan JVCA as well, and work very closely with their regulators. And most importantly, we work with the Financial Action Task Force to deal with money laundering, how to anti-money laundering, as well as all the hacking in cybersecurity. So this topic is very aptly to discuss. So just one point I'd like to point out, out of all the money laundering and hacking that happens, we discussed with FATF the main amount of money laundering that happens, including all the hacks, is around 0.1% of all the $3 trillion market cap today. So if relative to the existing traditional finance space, it's still very small. Okay, but however, because every single piece of news that comes out it's in the media, it looks like it's a very novelty, something to know, and so on. But today, I think I'd like to discuss from the view of some of the practices that have been happening that can improve and learn from the traditional finance space. But I think at the same time, we have to give credit to what's actually happening in DeFi space to correct all these different mistakes. So one of the main things that we see happening, if we discuss on the Poly network thing, Poly network hack, is that yes, they have been hacked, but the process happened behind could have been done better. So for example, in the traditional world, even Microsoft, Google, and all them, they have huge bug bounties. Okay, huge bug bounties meaning that if someone has been able to hack the system, then these companies will pay them a very huge reward to actually see the vulnerabilities because they're rewarded for hacking them. But one thing that goes a bit too far in the traditional space is that these hackers, they're so good that they get employed by these big firms afterwards and have huge salaries. But worst of all, not all companies are actually alike. When there are zero-day events being when hackers as well as developers are not aware of these different hacks, they just become quiet and they don't even talk about it. Okay, look at Microsoft recently about the printer spooling hack. They have been very quiet. You have to see all the different news behind the site. You have to see all the different news on the site in order to find out. So we're learning from that where you can employ the hackers in the traditional space, but the problem there is a lot of things are actually hidden as well. Whereas in the DeFi space, where the community is working together, different solutions are coming up to try to make it more transparent. So there are some sites, for example, called ImmuneFi, IMMUNEFI. Not affiliated with them, just that I've learned the recent few months that there are sites like this that actually review the different bounties, right? Review the different bounties, and not only that, they tell you how much that you will be paid at the most. And the largest amount is, for example, $2 million if you actually made a core hack that hacked the system. But there's another big problem. Unlike Microsoft and all that, these blockchain networks have a monetary value. So for example, Solana is worth this much, or even Binance Smart Chain today is worth 100 billion. 2 million as a bug bounty is definitely not enough, right? If you hack that, you would rather be able to hack and take the 1 billion away, steal it, than the 2 million. So right now there is this incentive not fully aligned that we still need to work with. But to me, the DeFi space is becoming more transparent because they know that there is no, we won't say there's no accountability, there's no one core person that you can make it accountable for. So I guess from my part of the speech, giving it the different angle is, I think what needs to be done more is the communications after the hack, what needs to be done. And zero-day events, we definitely need to improve that, which we are seeing DeFi trying to improve with sites like ImmuneFi and so on.
Right. Yeah. Thanks, Anson. Thanks for that. I think that's very useful. We have some questions. Why don't we move over to the Q&A? And then if you have any other question for the panelists, we will go into the sort of breakout session later. So you feel free to ask more questions then. So the first question from the audience, this is from Ziwei. So he asked whether Singapore has opened the door to firms offering digital payment token service to operate legally, or rather in licensed environment, right? So what are the foreseeable cybersecurity risks and what is at stake by opening our doors to adopt more of this digital payment token service provider? So is there any panelists would like, or Anson, but you, since you're, yeah.
Yes. Okay, so the answer is yes. So Singapore has offered the payment services license, which our association Access have been working with MAS since pre-license in 2017 to get the digital payment token section in the license correct. So within the license, there are many things that MAS looks at. So you have to be able to have a very strong process for anti-money laundering. And not only that, your technology risk management, the TRM, you also need to do it properly, and it has to be sort of near the bank grade, so to speak, in order to get your licenses. So I guess the cybersecurity risk falls into that. And I mean, everything's on the internet. As I speak to people, when you're on, when even cryptocurrency exchanges, when there is an intermediary, it's not about when, if you get hacked, it's about when. And when you do get hacked, what are your processes? So when you are dealing or using a centralized exchange, there will always be risks. So users just need to be aware of that.
Right. We have 4 more minutes, so feel free to ask your question in the chat. Is there any question? So there is a question from Xinghui, but Xinghui is asking, what is the path towards stablecoin? So, but maybe I would like to rephrase the question, because there's a sort of a cybersecurity angle. So in terms of heading towards stable coins, what are the cybersecurity threats that we see as well, or opportunity in that sense? Yeah. Derek, would you like to give this a try?
Wow, this is a big question. I'm not sure whether I'm qualified about.
Or do we want Xinghui? Could we get the audience to share as well?
Yeah.
I mean, to clarify the question a bit more. I will assume that Xinghui means on this. I mean, also applying the so to narrow the question to more of a cybersecurity perspective.
Yeah, Xinghui, if you want to be invited onto the stage, we can invite you now if you'd like to.
Yeah, that might be good. We still have some time, then we can hear from Xinghui.
Okay.
It's always good to learn from the audience as well.
Let's see.
Hello, hi Xinghui.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Yeah, so Xinghui is from Rapid 7.
Right.
So maybe, would you like to share the question with us and maybe rephrase it to adapt to more of this side to the topic? Yeah.
So, well, thanks for the panelists. Very informative session today we have. Now, my background for the company I work for is pretty much on vulnerability management as well as threat assessment as well. Right? That's what I do. But what I meant by stable coin means pegged to a country's currency. That's one. And the countries definitely need to have the necessary protection framework in place, protecting the users, protecting the currency, in this case the token or the crypto itself, to ensure a proper transaction in the public ledger or blockchain kind of mode. That's where I am coming from.
Right. So is there any panelists that would like to sort of address this question?
I guess I can.
Yes,
okay, so in terms of stable coins, it's actually a priority not only for Singapore, for the IMF, World Bank, as well as the FATF. They're actually doing a big project on it, and hence I would speculate the recent a competition for questions that I know Subnendu, our Chief FinTech Officer at MAS, has been asking for CBDCs, stablecoins, what are the problem statements. It's a big thing to discuss, because not only you have to discuss about the financial side, the economics, as well as cybersecurity. So cybersecurity, they are, in terms of being accountable for the different coins that exist, or the CBDCs or stable coins, I don't think that's the biggest problem now, because once you timestamp onto the largest chains like Ethereum or even on Bitcoin, those chains which are so decentralized, it's fairly hard to hack, if you are going the blockchain method. Yeah. However, if you're going the blockchain-inspired method, for example, the China CBDC, then there are things that you need to make sure that no hacks can exist. So it depends on the governments, which side they want to go, depends on the securities, the speed as well, and so on. And so I just, sorry, I had to point this out. I'm not trying to take limelight, but I want to answer Jean's question on Jean's point on insurance. DeFi, there is actually insurance today. And instead of having underwriters, it's the stakers that actually stake behind the insurance. And you can actually buy against the insurance against the custody, against smart contracts, and so on today.
Excellent. I think that's very useful. So I think that's all the time we have for the question today. We have just meet the 3 o'clock, so we are good in terms of time. So for the rest of you, first of all, I would like to thank, on behalf of Singapore FinTech Association, I would like to thank IC71 for being a great partner. And then all the presenters of the showcase, the on-chain security showcase, very interesting stuff. And of course, the panelists as well. I think thanks for making this a really sort of engaging conversation. And I believe that the participant has also are able to learn a lot from what we have just shared as well. So if you have any further question, feel free to go over to the networking session. But before that, I'll pass it back to Linda. Linda, over back to you.
Great. Thank you so much, Michael, and all of our esteemed panelists. Thank you to you too. Well, we hope that it has been an insightful and informative event for everyone. Attendees who are interested to connect and continue the discussion with the panelists or the showcasing companies can do so now at the virtual lounge. In the virtual lounge, everyone will be able to interact with other event participants and hop between tables to meet new people and have conversations. Feel free to take a seat at any table by selecting the join button or just clicking on the chair, and it'll take you right there into the conversation. Now, if you want to leave the conversation, say bye to the table participants, and all you have to do is click on the cross X sign on the top right corner of the table, and then you can leave. There will also be free discussion tables labeled A through N, which are open for anyone to use. You can invite other participants to join your table by using the General Chats tab. Well, thank you once again to all panelists and presenters, as well as our co-organizer, SFA. Please feel free to reach out to the I-71 team after this event for any questions. And you can find us on LinkedIn, Facebook, or at our website, i71.sg. We will now all move to the virtual lounge for networking. So please feel free to go into the lounge now.